Hey, Minecraft Goosney talking to you again. How's it going? Hey, Universal Sign of Love. Um, we are now returning to the second part of the video, Dagon, the visual novel retelling by H.P. Lovecraft, a free-to-play game on Steam. I hope you enjoy it. Enjoy.
For despite its enormous magnitude and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith,
I would say that.
whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures. Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
It's water.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm.
Oh, there's pictures.
And revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the cyclopean monolith, on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures. The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books.
Cthulhu! Cthulhu!
Consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like. Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world, but whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain. It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
Storytelling methods. Dagon contains many themes and storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later works, such as telling the story through cravings at the Mountains of Madness, Nameless City, journals and characters' notes, the shadow out of time, the haunter of the dark, islands emerging from the ocean, the call of Cthulhu, or fictional beings and deities based on real events and mythologies, Miko in the Whisper of Darkness. Also considered the origin of popular Cthulhu mythos. Some of Lovecraft's other stories are concluded in a manner similar to Dagon, but let's skip the details in order not to spoil the ending.
Plainly visible across the intervening water on account of their enormous size were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré. I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men, though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto,
Like mermen or mermaids.
or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well. Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint, grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
Well, that looks like a mind flare, doesn't it?
They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips, glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall. Curiously enough, they seemed to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background, for one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
Oh, they were huge.
I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size, but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe.
That's how you make the fear go
Some
away.
tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born. awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist. I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly, I saw it. With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters.
Ah!
Polyphemus-like and loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith, about which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, the while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds. I think I went mad then. Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little. I believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing. I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat. At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods. When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital.
Degrading one.
Brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean. In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
The journalist. Lovecraft was a prominent figure in the world of amateur journalism. In 1915, he started publishing his own journal called The Conservative, which included political and social commentary, poetry, short stories, and literary criticism written by him and other authors. Howard was skilled wordsmith, but he also took criticisms to heart, which resulted in his decision to step away from writing poetry and concentrate on weird fiction again for the first time since the teenage years. Dagon, published in 1917, is one of the short stories written during such that period. In his example expert from The Conservative, the master of horror fiction explains his attitude towards warfare and the ideal of world peace. Why any sane human being can believe that possibilities of universal peace is more than conservative can fathom, should entire civilized world agree simultaneously to disarm one or more nations, would undoubtedly retain secret armaments and at the proper time take advantage of their more altruistic, less astute contemporaries in a wild career of conquest against unarmed victims. No country is or ever can be above warfare until the basic impulse of human animals shall have miraculously changed. Ah! Oh, I got up.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Ah, title. Dagon. Was the main deity of the Philistines, worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagon was commonly noun or for grain. Rulers of Akkad, Mesopotamia, chose him as the patron saint of their war of their war conquest. He also appeared as the judge of dead in Elysium poem and underworld prisoner warner in one of the Babylonian texts. He is often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong. Dyslexia is so bad. He is often mistaken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name in Hebrew, as the word dag means fish. In H.P. Lovecraft's work, Dagon is an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones, a humanoid race with fish traits that resides in the ocean. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Astratic Order of Dagon. Oh,
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
August Derleth and the Cthulhu Mythos. August Derleth was an American writer and anthologist. He also befriended Lovecraft and published many of his works through his company, Arkham House. Although he greatly contributed to the popularization of the author's work after his death, he is surrounded by numerous controversies. One of his most questionable decisions involved introducing good versus evil doctrine. Derleth was a devout Catholic to the Cthulhu mythos. Oh, he was a devout Catholic in general to the Cthulhu mythos, which contrasted Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to the cosmic horror. As a result, the author's works are often misunderstood and misrepresented in today's culture. It is also worth noting that Lovecraft was never really interested in creating a mythology, and the term Cthulhu mythos was coined by Derleth after the author left the mortal plane. Ah, got a little Easter egg there. The Marketer. Lovecraft's attempt to find a job in 1925 were influenced by advice he received from friends, among others. He started freelancing as a marketing magazine where he would write announcements and commercials. Feel free to judge his copyright skills for yourself. From the ad of Curtis Woodbrook. Curtis Woodwork embraces both the unusual structure units and the cleverest controversies of the built-in or permanent furniture, such as bookcases, dressers, buffets, and cupboards. Every model is oh, dyslexia is awful today. Every model is conceived and created with the purest art, ripest scholarship, and the mellowest craftsmanship, which energetic enterprise and command. And to conform rigidly to the architecture of each particular type of home. The cost considering the quality is amazingly low, and the trademark on the individual pieces prevents any substitution by careless contractors. Source: Lovecraftian Studies, Volume 7, Number 1, H.P. Lovecraft, S.T. Joshi. He didn't say anything.
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing. I tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surcease and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave. So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
Lovecraft on tobacco and alcohol. Lovecraft hated tobacco, even though he used to smoke when he was 12 in order to look and feel like an adult. In his correspondences with a friend, Reinhard Kellner, he claims that he quit as soon as he started wearing long pants. He also had a very strong opinion about alcohol, as evidenced by his letter to Zell Brown dated 13th February 1928. So I want to explain this, like why it's dated like this. Only in America do we write like the month, the day, and then the year. And everywhere else, like I know like Europe and stuff and other countries, they write the day, the month, and then the year. That's like why it's written like this. As for a matter of drinking, I have never tasted intoxicating liquor, nor never intend to. Having a strong aesthetic disgust at anything which blunts and courses the delicate, natural epithos that evolve from human intellect and imagination. Drinking excited my personal repugnance, hence I don't drink. Let the herd do what they will. I am rather in favor of prohibition, the prohibition of any one antisocial force as well as any other. Source: The Spirit Revision, Lovecraft's Letters to Zell Brown, Reed Bishop, H.P. Lovecraft, Sean Brandy, and Limited, S.T. Joshi. So now he's...
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm, a mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man-of-war.
It's possible.
This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium. The end is near. I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
No. It's gonna be some jump scare, and it's gonna get me. I don't like jump scares. I already know the jump scare's coming. I hope it's not a jump scare. I don't wanna. Anything else to look at in the room? Anything about fish cans? Or like sacks? Or like the type of lanterns that people use? Or why his room looks like that? He even boarded it up!
It shall not find me.
Oh, no.
God, that hand!
It's like a waving thingy.
The window! Window!
He jumped out the window. So he died by jumping out the window. We hope you enjoyed immersing yourself in our little pool of cosmic horror. We'd appreciate if you took a moment to rate Dragon and check out other game and other DLCs. You guys can do that. I'm gonna not do that. That's a little opening thing. That is the whole short story / game. So that was Dagon by H.P. Lovecraft, done by this company who does these stuff. We did not get everything. Yeah, look. So if you want to play through to try to get everything, you can. There's also achievements for the game. How many achievements are there? I got 5 out of 6, so I am missing 1. Oh, I got all of them, I think. Hold on, which one am I missing? I didn't find all the trivia pieces, so if you guys want to go through and find all the trivia, feel free. Let's go through the tags again before we give it a little rating. Horror. Was there horror? Yes, that guy was freaking out. Lovecraftian. It was definitely Lovecraftian. It was based on a Lovecraftian story, one of his earlier ones. Atmospheric. We definitely were in a world, maybe not like our own, or maybe future of our own, or maybe past of our own, but of our own. It was atmospheric. Visual novel. That was definitely visual novel. Um, Compared to other visual novels, I like that it was read out itself. I didn't have to read the whole thing to you guys. I like reading visual novels. I just don't like reading out loud because I'm horribly dyslexic. I would give that a out of 5. It was pretty interesting. I jumped a little bit. I always jump when video games. I don't jump in real life. I jump in real life even though I know it's coming, but I don't get as scared. For some reason, video games get to me more. Out of 5, I guess I would give it 2.5 out of 5. Like somewhere in the middle. It was okay. I wouldn't play it again. The replayability. I mean, I don't really care about getting all of these. If you guys want to, you can also reread them again. If you want to go through the find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I missed 10 of them, and I only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got 10. I got 50% of them. So there's 50% more to find. If you want to go through and find them and get that last achievement, go ahead. If you care about Steam achievements, I really don't. I try to do them as I play it, and I don't go back to play it. So that's my review of that game. I'm gonna say peace out, peace out, and bye.